Hey everybody, it's Dr. Tom Higbee, Executive Director of the ASSERT Autism Program and Professor of Special Education at Utah State University, here again to talk with you about a recent project that we have published in the emergency issue of Behavior Analysis in Practice. This is a project that my team put together over a very short period of time where we created a tutorial to help you create digital learning activities using Google Slides and Google Classroom. In this video, we're going to demonstrate some of these features of the tutorial, walk you through some of the steps of creating digital materials, and also talk with you about ways that you can disseminate these materials to your clients and families. We hope this will be helpful during this challenging time. Thanks for your attention, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact us.
Google Classroom is a great way to share instructional activities because it allows teachers and clinicians to provide instruction, create and organize assignments, and communicate through a digital platform. To create a Google Classroom, navigate to the Google Classroom website and click on the plus sign in the top right-hand corner of the screen. When you click on this plus sign, you will have the option to create a class. If you are not using this as part of a school, you can click I've read and understand the above notice and click Continue. This box will allow you to name the class and create class sections. I would recommend that you type your agency name and BCBA name in the class name box, and then you can do client initials in the section. Then you click Create. Once your classroom has been created, you can access it and create assignments. It will also appear on your Google Classroom homepage. Once you have a Google Classroom, you can begin creating assignments and adding instructional content. To do this, click on your Google Classroom and navigate to the Classwork tab. One of the nice things about Google Classroom is that it allows you to create topics to organize instructional materials. You can create topics by clicking Create and clicking on the Topic button. I'm going to call this topic Independent Instructional Activities. Then I will click Add, and the topic will appear as part of my Google Classroom. Once you have topics, you can begin creating assignments. To create an assignment, click the blue Create button and click Assignment. When the assignment menu appears, it will allow you to title the assignment, provide instructions, and add assignment content. I'm going to call this assignment Assignment 1. If you have specific instructions for clients and caregivers, you can type them in this box here. To add assignment content, you click the Add button here, and you can add content from Google Drive by using a link or from a file on your computer. I'm going to add content from Google Drive. This Google Sites presentation corresponds with assignment 1, so I'm going to click here and then click Add. As you can see, the Google Slides presentation attached below. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can do specific options for assignments. I'm going to click on this and click Ungraded because I don't want this assignment to be graded. And you can also assign the assignment to a specific topic. I want to assign this to the Independent Instructional Activities topic. Then I will click Assign, and the assignment will be available for clients and caregivers underneath the Independent Instructional Activities topic. You can follow the same process for creating and adding assignments until you have all of your instructional content incorporated into your Google Classroom.
Hello, today we're going to be creating an independent instructional activity from an array of 3. I will be using the task analysis located on page 21 through 24 of our manuscript and referring to earlier task analysis that are found on page 8 through 22. I will try to refer to these individually as they come up. All right, so I will actually start on page 8 with the task analysis labeled Building a Google Slide Presentation. So according to that task analysis, we're going to start by going to the Google Slide homepage. And we will create a blank presentation. And we will create a title slide first. So based on the task analysis on page 21, this is for a shapes program, so a receptive shapes identification. So the title will be shapes. And then we will begin to add our new slides. So we can return to the original task analysis on page 21 for further instructions on how to create this program. Okay, so once the title slide has been created, we're going to add 3 blank slides. And I will do it from this plus button here in the top left-hand corner. So 1, 2, and 3. The first slide will be our instruction slide. Our second will be our praise, and our third will be the error correction slide. Okay, so now I am on step 4 of the task analysis, page 22. And I'll start by adding the instruction. You can just click here and add it in this text box. However, if that text box was not present, you could simply come up here to the toolbar and add a text box like that. And we will start with touch triangle. And you can format the font. We've been using this one, but do whatever is best for your students, and the font size. And then we will delete all other text boxes because we will be putting in our own content. Okay, we are now on steps 6 and 7 of the task analysis for the array of 3, and it is asking us to insert our stimuli. So for us, it's going to be shapes, but you can also insert images in your array. We have instructions on that on page 8, 9, and 10 on the earlier task analysis called adding visual stimuli. So I will refer to that for now. We're going to go to the toolbar and select shape. And the first shape I'll be inserting is a square. If I push down the shift button while I create my shape, it'll guarantee me a perfectly sized square. And then I'll click out of that and insert my next shape, which will be a triangle. And my final shape of a circle. Okay, and you can size these to whatever you feel is appropriate. Like so. And then Google Slides has these guidelines that will kind of help you make sure everything is an equal distance from each other and centered across the page. It can be very helpful. All right, so back to the visual stimuli task analysis. Step 4 gives us instructions on how to change the color. So I can click on a shape, go up to the paint can. We've selected black for our shapes, but you can do whatever you feel is appropriate. And then our triangle, I'll set to black along with the borders. And the same for the circle. All right. And that is it for adding a shape. If you are interested in adding an image into your array, We have a task analysis for that starting on page 10 through 12. It's called Inserting Images, but you would go to Insert Image, and Google Slides you can pull from your computer, from your drive, from your photos, or from the web. And we'll have a little bit about that in the praise slide instructions. Okay, now we're going to return to the task analysis for the 3 array. And on step 8, it states that we need to add links. So the links for the shapes will send the student to an error correction slide, which will be our slide 4, or a praise slide if they select the correct target. We have a task analysis for this process as well. It is on page 14, 15, and 16 of the manuscript, so I will refer to that now. It's under the title, Adding Links to Stimuli. So the first thing we want to do, and we'll work on the incorrect responses first, is we will select the shape that needs to be linked, and then go to Insert Link on our toolbar. You can also right-click the shape and insert a link, or you can go to Insert from the file or from the menu and select Link from there as well. But following the task analysis, I will select a link from the toolbar, and you always want to select slides within the presentation so that it stays as inside the current program. So because this is an incorrect response for our current set of instructions, I want to link it to slide 4. And you want to make sure that you select Apply whenever adding a link, else the link does not get attached to the shape. And this is your proof that the shape is now linked to slide 4, and you can copy that link, or you can edit that link. All right, so we'll make a similar link for the other incorrect answer down to slide 4 and apply. And then our correct response, which is the triangle in this case, will get linked to slide number 3, which will become our praise slide. So 1, 2, 3, and apply. Now all of our stimuli are linked to their correct slides. The following step on the array of 3 task analysis is to add vocal instructions. So that'll put us at step 10. And we have a task analysis on how to insert audio stimuli on page 12 and 13 called Adding Auditory Stimuli. So we will now follow that. We will now follow that task analysis in order to add our instructions. For this case, it will be touch triangle. In order to access audio files, to insert into Google Slides, they need to be in an MP3 format and need to be in your Google Drive. We have been using a voice recorder found already on our computers, or you could use Quick Player or any sort of feature already found on your phones. And then we've been using an online audio recorder converter to change the format into an MP3. So on page 12, according to the task analysis, the first thing we would do is we're going to insert the audio file by going to the main menu and selecting Insert, Audio. And here's where your Google Drive comes into play. So it's only going to share audio that's in your drive or audio that's been shared with you on your Google Drive. I tend to use what's most recent. So I record it and then I go to put it in. So the first thing we're going to do is find our instruction of touch triangle, and we select that audio clip. And now it is a part of our slide. So we're going to switch it to automatically play. As soon as the student enters this slide, the instruction will automatically play, and then we're going to hide it so you can't see the icon when the student is on the page. We're just going to move it to a corner so that they can't access it. You can test it. And it is working. So that is how you insert an audio file. Okay, we will return to the task analysis on how to create a 3-array instructional activity. And on step 11, it is instructing us to add a protective film. The instructions to do that are located on page 18 under the heading Add a Protective Film. So I will turn to that now. And the first step is to add a shape. So we will go to the toolbar and select shapes, and we will select a rectangle, and we will just encompass the entire slide within that shape, like so. We're going to leave the fill color for now so that we know that the cover is there, and we will work on that later. And we're going to add a link to this shape, which will help navigate us. So as you can see, my link option is not available on my screen right now. So all I'm going to do is get rid of this menu on the right, and then all of my options are available again. So I will select a link and select a slide within the presentation. And I will select the current slide. So I am on slide 2. And in that way, any clicks that are not on any of the stimuli will just keep the student on this original slide instruction page. Okay, so once we have a link, we are going to move the protective film to the back so that all of the stimuli are present on top of it. Just like that. We will also send this text to the back. Just send it backward. So it's also not going to land or click on anything. And we can do the same with our sound. Send backward. Okay, perfect. So now only clicks on the actual stimuli, the target response, or the distractor's response will have an effect on the slides. All right, so now we can take care of the fill color. So we will make it transparent, and we will change the border color to transparent as well. And our first slide is officially ready to go. Okay, now it's time to create our praise slide. I normally get rid of all of the text boxes. So this should or could contain any sort of like visual stimuli that your student might enjoy, any sort of auditory stimuli that they might like. What we've done is we've built like a bank of praise statements that we can all share and use. You can add images. So you can insert images from the web. So if you want to look up like balloons or something like that to insert, you can also look up animals to put in there, and you would just insert them like you did the shapes. So you say insert, and it'll create an image, and you can size it to whatever you want. And what I really enjoy doing is putting in GIFs. So we can, go here, and this is just a website that has access to GIFs, and you can copy the link And you're going to look here for the GIF link. And I can go to Insert, Image, and insert it by URL. And then select Insert. And now the GIF is part of my slide. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is insert a navigation arrow. So when the student is ready, they can move on to the next set of instructions. And we actually have a task analysis for that as well on page 16, labeled navigation arrows. So according to that, we're going to go to Shapes and select an arrow. This one's going to be pointing to the right, just like so. You're going to click inside that shape, double click, and write the word next. We have also been updating the font and font size for these as well. All right, so now that that arrow is ready, you want to make sure you're clicked on the shape and not on the text. And we can assign a link to that arrow to take them to the appropriate slide. So what I normally do is I take the first 3 slides that I have created and I copy them and I paste them so that my next button can navigate to the next set of instructions, which will be slide 5. So link, slides within this presentation, select slide 5 and hit apply. Just like that, now our arrow has a link to the next set of instructions. So as we have done with our other slides, we want to place a protective film on this so that no other clicks will affect its progression except for the next arrow. So we will put on our shape. And like I said, we can worry about the film later, where we're just going to add a link that keeps the slide, the presentation on the slide, no matter where the student is clicking. And we're going to send it to the back. And I'll send my audio backwards as well. Okay, so now we can make the shape transparent along with the border, and our price slide is complete. The next step in our task analysis is step 15, where we are going to add our error correction slide. So again, you can delete all of this content. Here you can write a statement like try again, or nice try, or anything that works for you and your student. I'm going to center it. And if you want to provide any additional prompts for that student, you can just copy. So I click on the first square and then I hit Control and click on the second and shape, and then on the third shape, all while holding down the Control key. And then I can Control copy and paste them on my error correction. So my slides or my links to each of my stimuli are still connected to each of these shapes, which is exactly what I want, except for my triangle needs to lead back to the touch triangle slide. So I'll change this one to the original instruction. And then, so if you go to the try again page and they select the wrong answer here, it'll keep them here representing the slide. If they hit the correct answer, then they get to move on and get the instructions again. So there's different types of prompts that you can add. One of them is you can insert an image. There we go. Which can help your student know what is the correct answer. So we just scale this down to size and place it on top of the right answer. I also link this as correct, just in case the student clicks on the hand instead of the shape, so that they won't get discouraged. So I'll go here and add a link to slide 2 that will let them try again. Another type of prompt you can add is a visual stimulus. So we can have these items move when they're the correct answer. So you can do that by selecting the shape or the image that you have and going to Insert and scrolling down to Animation. And here you can select the type of animation that will happen. So sometimes I'll put spin. More importantly, you want to make sure that this happens after previous. So the minute that the slide turns on, then that action will happen. So it'll look like this. And the animation is set. And you can tell that it is by these 3 little circles over here on the left. And last but not least, we want to insert some sort of audio for the student. It can say, this is the triangle, or just try again, anything to give them some sort of instruction on this page. So once again, I went to Insert Audio, and selected the try again. And we're going to have it play automatically and hide the icon. Just move this to the corner, make sure it is functioning. I can hear it, perfect. And lastly, we do have an arrow for this slide as well. So we'll go to Shapes and Arrows. This time it'll be a backwards arrow, and we'll put it down here in the corner. That says back. And we can adjust the fonts and the font size. There we go. And we can click on the shape. Make sure you're on the shape and not the text. And insert a link. Need to close out of this. Insert a link that will take the student back to the original instruction page. Another thing you can do to be certain that they go back is when you add your protective film by going to Shapes and adding a rectangle, is you can link that entire protective film back to the original instruction slide. So literally any click they make outside of any of the stimuli will just take them back. So we can say, or keep them on the error correction slide, which we can give that a try. Okay, so as we've done previously, we're going to send this to the back. And we will change the color to transparent and the border to transparent. So at this point, we have the instructions, a praise slide, and an error correction slide completed for this instruction. So we can go ahead and test it and see if it works like it's supposed to by going to Present.
Touch triangle.
So the first thing I do is test that all my error links
Try
work.
again.
So that took me straight to an error correction slide, perfect. And I'll go back.
Touch triangle.
So now I'm back at the original instruction slide, and I'll select my other incorrect response.
Try again.
which led me straight back to the error correction slide, so that is great. If I were to click the correct answer here,
touch triangle,
I'm back to my original instruction, and then I will select the correct answer,
Great work.
which takes me to my praise slide.
touch triangle,
So this is actually my next set of instructions. I just haven't updated the SD. So now I can work on, anytime you want to edit an already made slide, you need to remove your protective film. And let's say that this time I want them to touch circle. I'll also want to move some of my stimuli around so they're not in the exact same area space as they were before. Okay, so I will delete my auditory stimulus and insert a new one. All right, so I will change my audio to say touch circle. So audio, here is touch circle. And again, I will select automatically and hide so that that audio will play as soon as this slide opens and will be hidden. The next thing I want to do is update all my links. So this previously was our correct answer. So right now it's linked to the copied praise slide. So we want to make that change. And we want to delete the link and then find slide 7, our new slide 7. Our new slide 7 is our new error correction slide. And that's done. So the square is still the incorrect answer and it is already linking to the correct page, so we can leave that there. And then we want to change slide . We want to change the link. And if you ever have problems like this, which will happen, you can just add a new link and it'll just replace whatever error is there. So this is now our correct answer. So we want to link it to our new praise slide and hit apply. And then we'll put that same protective film on it. Oh, it probably is already there. There we go. So here we go. Our protective film is on it, and it also has a corresponding link, and which is to itself. So once you create these, and if you copy and paste them, they're pretty self-sufficient in just copying and changing as you progress. So I would recommend creating these first 3 slides wholly and then copying them over and over in order to create your entire program. So here is touch circle. So now we can test the true flow of our slides. So shapes.
touch triangle,
We'll touch the
Try
wrong
again.
one. We're going to go back.
touch triangle,
We'll touch the wrong one again.
try again,
All of those are working as they should. And as you can see, no clicks anywhere are changing where this slide goes.
touch triangle,
And now I will select the
Great
correct one, which sent us to our praise slide.
touch circle.
And now I'm in my new instructions. So that is how you create an interactional program with an array of 3. Once you have created your entire instructional activity, I'll show you how to publish it and share it into your Google Classroom. All right, so once it's complete, we'll go to File and select Publish to the Web. And we set our slides at 1 minute, just trying to give the student as much time as possible to make a selection. And then I'm going to set the slideshow to start as soon as the player loads it, and then select Publish. Yes, I do want to publish. So now I'm given a link. So I'm going to copy that link, and I'll take you over to our sample classroom. And I can go to classwork now and go to create an assignment. I will title it shapes. Here's where I could add any instructions for the parent. So provide student with iPad on Google Classroom application and begin shapes activity. Great. And then I can select add. And because I have a link, I can use the Google link and paste it. Say add link. We normally have these at ungraded. And select assign. And now when my families come, they can click on the shapes assignment and it'll run like a slideshow for them. So they won't see what I saw
Touch
previously.
triangle.
And it works just like it did before.
Try again. Touch.
Great work.
Taking them to that.
Touch circle.
Great work.
There, and now you have an assignment on your Google Classroom.
BCBAs can create caregiver-supported instructional activities using Google Forms. Navigate to the Google Forms website and click Go to Google Forms. You can create a new Google form by clicking on the blank plus sign. Title the Google form by typing the title in the top left-hand corner of the screen. If you have any directions for caregivers that you would like to include, you can add them in the form description box. Before you create any questions, you will want to ensure that caregivers enter a form ID. This will allow you to easily organize and manage the data when you access it later. The first question should be, enter your form ID. After creating a form ID question, you can add additional questions by clicking on the plus sign. Type the question into the question box. If you want caregivers to indicate whether the client answered correctly or incorrectly, you can do this by including multiple choice options. Click on the Answer drop-down menu and click Multiple Choice. Under Option 1, type Answered Correctly. You can add another answer option by clicking Add Option and typing Answered Incorrectly. Continue adding questions until you have entered all of the questions that you want to include within this program. After clients and caregivers complete the Google Forms, BCBAs can access and organize the data. To access the form responses, navigate to the Google Forms website, go to Google Forms, and click on the form where you want to see the responses. You can view form responses by clicking on Responses. This page will provide you the option to see a summary of the responses, to see responses by question, or to see responses from individual clients. If you want to view all of the form responses in one location, you can click on the Google Sheets button to view responses in Sheets. This will create a Google Sheet that will have all of the responses to the form, and you can use this to easily organize and analyze data.